for more miner shacks. Her father said that Hale had put up while she was gone. The water of the creek was jet black now. A row of rough wooden houses ran along its edge. The geese cackled a doubtful welcome. A new dog leaped barking from the porch, and a tall boy sprang after him, both running for the gate. "Why, Bub!" cried June, sliding from her horse and kissing him, and then holding off at arm's length to look into his steady gray eyes and his blushing face. "Take the horses, Bub," said old Judd, and June entered the gate while Bub stood with the reins in his hand, still speechlessly staring her over from head to foot. There was her garden, thank God, with all her flowers planted, a new bed of pansies and one of violets, and the border of laurel in bloom, unchanged and weedless. "One of Jack Hale's men to take care of it," explained old Judd, and again with shame June felt the hurt of her lover's thoughtfulness. When she entered the cabin, the same old rasping, petulant voice called from her bed in one corner, and when June took the shriveled old hand that was limply thrust from the bedclothes, the old hag's keen eyes swept her from head to foot with disapproval. "My, but you're a wearin' mighty fine clothes," she croaked enviously. "I ain't had a new dress for more'n 5 years." And that was the welcome she got. "No?" said June appeasingly. "Well, I'll get one for you myself." "I'm much obliged," she whined, "but I reckon I can get along." A cough came from the bed in the other corner of the room. "That's Dave," said the old woman, and June walked over to where her cousin's black eyes shone hostile at her from the dark. "Sorry, Dave," she said, but Dave answered nothing but a sullen "Howdy," and did not put out a hand. He only stared at her in sulky bewilderment, and June went back to listen to the torment of the old woman's plaints until Bub came in. Then, as she turned, she noticed for the first time that a new door had been cut in one side of the cabin, and Bud was following the direction of her eyes. "Why, hain't nobody told you?" he said delightedly. "Told me what, Bub?" With a whoop, Bub leaped for the side of the door, and reaching up, pulled a shining key from between the logs and thrust it into her hands. "Go ahead," he said. "It's yourn." "Some more of Jack Hale's fool doin's," said the old woman. "Go on, gal, see what he's done." With eager hands she put the key in the lock, and when she pushed open the door, she gasped. Another room had been added to the cabin, and the fragrant smell of cedar made her nostrils dilate. Bub pushed by her and threw open the shutters of a window to the low sunlight, and June stood with both hands to her head. It was a room for her, with a dresser, a long mirror, a modern bed in one corner, a work table with a student's lamp on it, a washstand, and a chest of drawers, and a piano. On the walls were pictures, and over the mantel stood the one she had first learned to love. Two lovers clasped in each other's arms, and under them the words "Infinito." "Oh, oh, oh," was all she could say, and choking, she motioned Bud from the room. When the door closed, she threw herself sobbing across the bed. Over at the Gap that night, Hale sat in his office with a piece of white paper and a lump of black coal on the table in front of him. His foreman had brought the coal to him that day at dusk. He lifted the lump to the light of his lamp, and from the center of it a mocking, evil eye looked back at him. The eye was a piece of shining black flint, and told him that his mine in Lonesome Cove was but a pocket of cannel coal and worth no more than the smoldering lumps in his grate. Then he lifted the piece of white paper. It was his license to marry June. Chapter 23.